Hello and welcome to Tea Time episode. I have absolutely no idea. Once again, I've not counted off screen. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing the professionalism that you give to a project like this. I wasn't sure what to call it then, but as you can see, I'm here with James again. Say hi, James.
Hi.
That was your key, like your cue to say hi, James, but you missed out on that. So we're going to do a bow because we always do a bow before we start doing these videos, regardless of if you're here or not. So let's do that now because I forgot to do it a minute ago.
Yeah, I thought that, yeah.
So let's do like the whole 3, 2, 1, bow. What is with this time dilation? This universe sucks. Okay, so this is a bit of an impromptu sort of tea time, mostly because the other one was quite successful. I had James on previously. Last week, we talked about lore speculation with 5.3 all the way up to, I don't know, like 7.0 onwards. Basically, some rough outlines of predictions and where the game could go ultimately. Now, you guys, we asked you and you delivered some really interesting comments. Quite a lot of them, in fact. And we had over 6,000 views for Tea Time, which is really, really nice. Thank you for that. But we thought we'd go through those comments today. I've picked out a few of them. I've got a notepad document right here. And I've picked out some of the best ones that we want to talk about. Or rather, I want to talk about. James hasn't seen these that I've picked yet. You've looked in the comment section yourself, though?
Skim through it, yeah.
Yeah, we sort of skimmed through bits and pieces, but all I have to say is thank you very much for keeping that very constructive. And where we did make mistakes, which we did make a few, you were courteous enough to us to give us a bit of leeway and not be the keyboard warriors that you find on forums. So thank you kindly for that. So without further ado, I say we get stuck into it. What about you?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So firstly, I thought we would start, okay, with Wild Barley's comment 5 days ago. Elidibus could be setting up his Warriors of Light, inverted commas, to in desperation summon the concept of Hydaelyn as a primal. He has incepted into their mind, especially if they end up giving their life ether to do it. Okay, James, what do you have to say to that?
Can you summon the same primal twice?
That's the question, isn't it? That's like the big thing. Can you summon a primal twice? But what is really the limitation on that? What is the limiting factor? As far as we know, it's just the willpower to summon a primal, right? That's all you need, the resolve and willpower and the ether. That
is true. Although, generally speaking, we've never seen two factions that worship the same god, have we?
This is true.
So I suppose technically it's possible.
I mean, you've also
Go on, What was his end game in summoning Hydaelyn anyway? This means there's two Hydaelyns.
Perhaps you could do the whole idea of what you summon is going to be taking on not only the form in your mind, but the your own views, like a corrupted version, like a replacement or something. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Is that an idea? I'm just throwing that out there. Because maybe you're tailoring, I don't know, maybe there's a way of manipulating those thoughts to create a primal, not only in the image that you're thinking of, but also adapted to your own willpower and to benefit your own ends, okay? So, like, if you were a beast tribe, you would summon a primal to assist with you, and that primal ultimately wouldn't attack you, would it? As a beast tribe. I mean the Sahagin weren't attacked by their primal, were they, etc.?
Well, here's the thing. Do primals have free will?
I don't think so. Surely it would be based on the individual who summoned them, right? Although we don't have anything to back that up.
Yeah, I'd say, because do they have free will, or are they actually bound by the premise of what they're summoned? Because actually, think about that makes an interesting connotation later on down the line.
It does. It really does.
Imagine Hydaelyn had a choice between saving like a realm, but at the cost of releasing Zodiac, or let everyone die.
Oof.
Because technically, she was summoned to beat Zodiac.
So what would be the initial benefit? Let's just put it from an Elidibus standpoint, okay? Obviously, we should have already said that this video contains spoilers, but, you know, it's kind of obvious. It's a lore speculation follow-up. I'll make sure I put spoilers in the actual tagline of the title so people don't shout at me. But what was the saying? So, yeah, my point is, what would Elidibus gain from such a plot? That's really the thing you have to ask, because so far I'm not getting much from it.
The only thing I can imagine is something a primal such as Hylian so aligned toward the light on the first could push the balance.
I guess.
Although, technically speaking, people on the first don't know Hylian's a primal. They think they're a god. She's a god.
What ether is required to summon an elder primal?
Well,
an entire world?
Well, Zodiac was summoned by a few people and then half the population to sustain them during the end of Amarok.
Yeah. So they used the souls of everyone.
It's ether, isn't it?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like the concentrated ether within a person, yeah. They use the entire...
all crystals, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, really. Maybe that's one of the catalysts for another idea of bringing about a rejoining. Or maybe, like I said before, maybe there's a way of pitting Hylian against herself, ? That's an entirely amazing, different idea for an arc, but I don't know how much... But then
again, would a primal actually be able to cross the ethereal sea? Because Hylian's not going to... A summoned version of Hylian that people from the first summon is nowhere near going to be as powerful as Hylian that was summoned by the Amarotians. Or whatever.
Yeah, there is that. It's a very interesting point from Wild Barley, but it's also far out there.
It kind of brings up more questions and answers, doesn't it?
It really does. But I wanted to include that one this week because I thought that...
it's a good one.
It was really quite interesting. I was sat there going, you know what? That's actually really quite cool. It might not be correct, but I like it. That's why I like the creativity that people that aren't us, they come up with some crazy stuff. One other thing I wanted to talk about was the idea of people staying in the first when the expansion's over. That was a big point for a couple of people in particular, but Firion FW in caps at the end there 5 days ago says, I doubt anyone's going to stay, considering we've been told multiple times it's killing everyone. Also, at the end of the last Eden content, it's already been hinted at for Reen to stay behind with her new pal, presumably meaning Gaia.
Well, it is killing them, but the Crystal Exarch is essentially holding them in stasis, their ether in stasis, isn't it? Sort of thing.
My point that I wanted to reiterate that we both thought up is the idea that time travels very differently between the two places, and as you become closer to a etherical equilibrium, let's call it, I don't know, of restoring balance, those worlds drift further and further apart in terms of the timeline, so that the majority of people who do go back, you know, they get back to their bodies and stuff. Those, if you did stay, yes, technically you would die in both worlds, right? Because your body's going to die eventually of atrophy anyway in the real world, but your soul, right, will, or whatever you want to call it, will live on a normal sort of period of life because of how that time dilation works, if it's still linked.
That's what I wanted to ask. If their body dies in the source, do they die in the first?
I don't think so.
Because, as I remember it, he said their souls were called away.
Yeah.
And essentially, Crystal Exarch is basically containing their ether inside of sort of physical form, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like a little spaceship.
Isn't it? It's sort of like a red dwarf, like hard light.
Yes, it is.
Hologram.
Yeah. Oh, nice reference.
But then that comes to think: do they age?
Well, I don't know. I just like the idea of perhaps like a year on our world being like I don't know, like several years for them, it would give, if, for example, right, if Thancred decided to stay there, right, with Reen or whatever, then technically he would be able to live out a pretty normal life up until a point where he was grey and old. Technically,
yes.
If you think about it. But his body could be long gone. So really the question is, if your body basically dies in this world, but it's linked, even though there's time dilation, will suddenly the spirit, even though it's really like you could be really happy and normal and, you know, aging normally, does it just suddenly pop out of existence? Or are we talking about like suddenly all of these many years of just age and death catching up with you? It's a pretty horrific way to go if it's that direction, if you think about it.
I suppose it really does depend on how linked they are, body and ether.
Body and mind.
Yeah, because I mean, if their body dies, because generally speaking, when you die, you go back into the ethereal sea. So I mean,
and then your ether is decompiled and then redistributed.
Yeah, so what? Yeah, so you're thinking, well, therefore the body isn't actually, you're not actually dying, are you, when you die, when you think about it? Your ether's just, there's nothing to contain your ether anymore. You've broken a container, so to speak.
You've broken a container. The best before dates run out.
Yeah, so, and then it's like, well, if you've got a separate container which is on the first, it just means you'd never be able to go back.
Yeah. It's an interesting point. The other part of that comment was the idea that it's already been hinted at for Reen to stay behind with her pal Gaia. Do you think that has any basis? Do you think she would stay behind with Gaia? Or would it be more of the fact that one of them can come back whilst that one stays there? I don't know. What's going on with that?
I think it's pretty much locked on that Reen and Gaia are staying, aren't they?
Yeah, so they're basically two sides of the same coin, for lack of a better word. My opinion is, I think that they are two different aspects of Minfilia that have been split apart.
It does look like it, doesn't it?
It looks like light side Minfilia and dark side Minfilia basically have been split. Like, imagine shining our Minfilia into a prism and then collecting the necessary components into two.
Yeah. I mean, quite possible Gaia is older than Reen. Quite possibly she could have been the old Orlok or something, got corrupted.
So are we saying that it's more like a sisterly bond than anything else?
It's getting that way, isn't it? I mean, we'd need more. We'd need to see they seem to be getting on quite well. We'd need to see
get your tinfoil hat out, right? You're ready for this. Unless at the end of the Eden thing, they join and they turn into our Minfilia.
Oh, God, no.
Say goodbye to 15-year-old Reen. I think a lot of people would unsub.
But here's the thing.
She's kind of cool character, and I like her character development.
Gaia can move between worlds, though, technically, right?
Why can't Reen?
Well, here's the thing. If Gaia can move between worlds...
Oh, God.
Is she only set between two worlds, or could she just move to the first? I mean, she turns up in the middle of with the void thing, didn't she, in E2?
You mean the source, yeah.
Well, no, on top of Eden, didn't she?
Yeah.
In the first fight, and then she pops up in Shiva, normal, thin air. So
that's a good point, actually. Where does she come from?
Yeah, so I mean,
or was it just off-screen anime cutscene thing, like, oh, I'll come and save the day?
Well, no, because in E2, when we first fight her, she literally pops out of nowhere.
Which is very similar to like an aspect of someone, isn't it? Like a shade.
Yes, she comes without a void walker, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, Void Walker is actually the name of the boss.
Yes, it is, yeah. I thought that's what you were referencing, but yes, it is, yeah.
So therefore, is she linked only being able to go back and forth between the first and the void, or is she able to go into all of them?
If
Because
she's capable of going to all of them, that's interesting.
Because if Voidwalker and Thing can travel through the same portal, then why couldn't she take Reen with her?
So what you're trying to pitch to me here, imagine I'm the BBC, you're trying to pitch two girls traveling through time, presumably in a box of some kind, because it'll be easier to go with something smaller rather than larger. So Eden, okay, so you're saying that Eden is basically being used as a time traveling machine, or better yet, they use the Crystal Tower. Okay, Reen and Gaia use the Crystal Tower, right,
to travel through
time and space,
saving planets and people.
To save planets and people from the evils of whatever's in those particular dimensions.
I'm not pitching you Doctor Who.
I mean, I'd watch that rather than the shit that's on the television.
Well, yeah, good point. But it would be a step to get them both onto the source within lore reasons.
Lore reasons, indeed.
Given that she technically shouldn't be able to travel from the source to the first. But it would be a lore reason why. I don't see why they would want that. But
I'm sorry, my mind's completely lost. I'm now humming like the theme tune of what it might be, but like imagining I'm imagining the Doctor Who theme composed by Soken, and it's just it's an incredible like
that would be awesome.
It's an incredible avenue of just like synths and like orchestra hits, and I'm loving it in my head right now. I wish I could share that with you. Just like plug in a jack, and you'll be like, "Wow, that's some good stuff." But yeah. That was a really interesting comment. It made me think a bit, and we ended up with Doctor Who, so that's always a good day. Thank you kindly for that.
It's a bit of a tangent, wasn't it?
Yes. Just a quick one from Freddie West that says, what if the very end of the story arc is you fighting yourself?
Well, that's kind of boring, don't you think?
Oh, I like the idea of fighting myself, but it is kind of boring, yes, because I have to face...
I don't think it's actually going to be possible. I mean, how do you fight yourself in a fight?
Maybe he's alluding to the fact that when we realize who we are sort of thing, maybe we split or something, or like parts of a split. I'm not really sure. I'm going to move the camera slightly because this guy's blocking it infinitely. There we go. Yeah. But... Maybe upon that realization, we I don't know, split somehow.
Fighting the Asian version of ourselves.
Oh, that would be neat, actually. And then you see.
I mean, you can't. You couldn't actually fight your character because too many jobs.
Yeah. So, well, that's true. Here's the kicker, though. So it appears in the image of what you were just wearing. Okay, so that's easy coding. Okay, it tries to talk to you a little bit like the Dark Knight questline, if you've ever done that with the. The shade. I won't spoil. I won't spoil that for anyone. It's a really good storyline. Go and do it. Right. Very cool. It gives credence to that whole idea of a darker side of you. Right.
But this means it means the end thing is a solo instant.
No, not necessarily. Right. And then you see yourself in this cutscene, and then before you get to fight yourself, that other version of you turns into what you would turn into if you were a primal.
You mean?
So you would actually, Hades, for example, stuff like that.
Would it be needed to have you to turn into the Amarottic version of you and then go into your final form that way?
I guess, as a final stage or something. But I want to see what our character would be as a primal, and they wouldn't have to do that differently for other people. What I'm saying is you could have a cutscene leading into the fight of just going, oh, wow, I'm fighting other version of Meoni, the Asian version, and you get a cowl on your head and you just, cracking up with laughter, and then you click your fingers, and then the cutscene ends, and then there's this, you are basically this monstrosity.
Yeah, like Hades' final form and stuff like that.
Exactly, right? That's what I would love to see, because if we are capable of doing what all of the other Asians are, in theory, right, having that form, then what the heck would we be?
I mean, technically speaking, that could be interesting, rather than us actually fighting ourselves, us fighting somewhat the memory.
Yeah.
Elizabeth's memory of what we were, or something.
You could also have like scenes in the background change depending on those memories, I suppose. Similar to how you have the fallen buildings and the post-apocalyptic scenes in Hades, but have like from our characters' memories perspective that we'd forgotten.
Yeah, you could have like. Well, I mean, it could literally be like an infusion of like Elizabeth's memory that's tapped into like the echo. So like you'd have like make like the ad phases and Hades where someone's like Lara Brea and stuff.
Oh yeah,
but Elizabeth actually manifests us, and then you can have the background, and you can have like the proper montage of like Bahamut, and then you can have like Alexander raids or something in the background as you go through the fight.
Or he just
our greatest achievements and stuff like that.
Summons a convocation of 14 and we're there as well.
Could be, yeah. But I mean, a 14-person fight wouldn't really work very well.
No. They appear and then they all merge into one monster.
It could be, yeah.
That'd be cool. I like that. That's a cool idea. There's lots of speculation there. Another really good idea, which I'm sure that Square Enix have probably thought about. But yeah, interesting. Okay, so we now have some discussion about the idea of what this final trial will be, okay? One of the best sort of suggestions I've seen comes from Carter Reams, one we haven't actually talked about yet at all, okay? They go, I strongly suspect that the trial will be Grahatir possessed by Elidibus. They continue, there would be no better way to screw with the Warrior of Light than by possessing the one person who could get the Scions back to the source. It's worth noting that Grahatir is exhausting himself with his work on soul transfer and crystal, much like how Thancred was exhausting himself shortly before La Brea possesses him. The potential for Elidibus to make this move is definitely there. What do you have to say to that?
Yes, a possibility.
It would be a little kick in the teeth, wouldn't it? Like that final, it would be that final thing. And then you could have this unfortunate result of maybe killing Grahatir. Maybe.
Yeah.
That would be very sad.
Well, it would also get the Scions back to the source.
It would. So it would act as a plot device, a really, really effective one.
But wouldn't it be a bit cliche given it's already happened to Thancred?
Yeah, but maybe it's the thing that's least expected right now from the majority of both the players of the game and also the Scions. The same trick twice. You're not going to think about it, are you? It's like, oh, well, they won't do that. But that's what happened with Thancred. That is a good point, though, the exhaustion and stuff. He's obviously taking... I mean, I was suspecting that it would be a one-way trip for Grahatir in this respect as well. Mostly because of how he refers to, you must wake up my counterpart, blah, 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 in our thingy, right? To basically start this whole paradox again, right? That's how it works, supposedly. So that's something we have to do. We have to wake him up because he sealed himself, blah, blah, blah. So there'll probably be some storyline with our Grahatir up to the point where he does all this thing, which will be off screen because it's far in the future. But that does mean that really it might be the end of this Grahatir storyline. So it does make sense to maybe give him one final sacrifice. Every expansion usually has ended with some form of sacrifice or someone getting killed or a cliffhanger for something worse.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had one in a while, and I'm looking at somebody's favourite character, and there's nobody more popular at the minute than either Emmett Selk, who's already gone, sadly, and the Crystal Exarch.
Really? I don't really like him.
Well, not from my own perspective, but you look at fan art, you scroll down 5 seconds on Reddit or Twitter or anywhere, and the official forums, and people are like, oh, Crystal Exarch's my best friend forever, but obviously some of them are more lewd than that. And and that's fair enough, you know, each to their own. But the idea is that what better way to mess with people like Carter has said, you just it is literally a fish hook through the face, isn't it? Basically.
I mean, I think I'd rather have Elidibus's final form.
Or maybe just like a build-up. Maybe... Oh god, am I going to say this? Maybe the Elidibus possessing Grahatir is the final part of the Hero's Gauntlet before the trial. So not only would we kill Grahatir, technically or potentially, in a dungeon, we would have then that lead up to actually fighting the trial with that conviction. Oof.
It could be the reason we go into the Hero's Gauntlet.
It could be, yeah. Also, like a cutscene of him getting messed up and then us going in there.
Well, it gets possessed and then goes away.
If you're trying to lure the Warrior of Light to somewhere that you want them,
yeah,
good opportunity.
Also, interestingly, Grahatir, can he really survive that long out away from the Crystal Tower that much? Because he doesn't seem very human-ish.
Yeah.
You see, when he's in Calusha, he seems to get very weak without using any powers or anything.
It's because of the crystal stuff. I don't quite understand that.
Well, I think he's basically fused his soul into the Crystal Tower, hasn't he?
He's a bit like...
Well, that begs the question, how much of the Ascian's power can they actually use while in a mortal form?
Well, yeah.
And if the mortal body becomes tired and weak, does that affect their power? Because that's a big point. You can't really fight him if he's been away for a while and he's weak.
Well, you wouldn't really need to fight for long, because it's also the perspective of, would you really want to lastingly damage / kill your friend? Yeah, but I mean, if it's a trial, it's going to be a semi-difficult fight. Or if it's just a dungeon, like I say.
If it's just a dungeon, that's fine. But if it's a final trial,
with like
you're not going to have like, oh no, that was actually really easy because he's weak.
Dungeon with that as the last boss of the dungeon, but then like a half an hour cutscene of Grahatir sadly dying, and then
half an hour.
Yeah, because that's.
Well, you're going MGS4 style now.
Yeah, and then we pick up our weapon of choice, whatever it is, off the ground, probably a white mage cane, and run after Elidibus for a portal, and we're suddenly fighting him on the moon. I don't know.
For final trial, they do have a thing of having the trial straight after the final dungeon. No?
They do, yeah. Stormblood did it.
We had it with Innocence.
We had it with Innocence. We had it with Hades, actually.
Yeah. Hades
because we had Amarok, then Hades.
Yeah.
Literally. You had to like queue for it in that special room.
Yeah. Yeah. It was basically a cutscene, Hades.
Yeah. Okay. That was an interesting point. Thanks for that, Carter. It was I love these comments. That's why I wanted to do this video, because I wanted to share them with other people that don't read the comments. Excuse me. Oh dear, I've got a frog in my throat. I'm going to have a sip of tea.
Yeah, you need more tea.
Yeah, I need more tea. Tea fuels the lore.
It does.
Check out the merch store. We got some tea mugs.
That's a terrible segue.
It is, yeah. You
need to watch more Linus.
I do need to watch more Linus Tech Tips. Yes,
just for the segues.
I don't think I could physically watch more of that guy, though, because I watch him whilst I upload videos.
Yeah, it's very entertaining.
Yes, he is indeed. Is this a plug for Linus or what?
I don't know.
All right, I'm better, I think. So for the next comment, we're talking about the idea of who we were as an Ascian, okay? Right, so I can't pronounce this guy's name because it's got lots of letters and I don't really know what these letters mean. There's a letter T at the start, then something that looks like a Z or an L, a backwards U, so maybe Russian U sort of thing. So it's like Turo Oiokuk. I don't know. There's no way I can even butcher something that I can't read, but I apologize in advance. You know, but your point was worthwhile that I wanted to put it into a video, so at least you can take that.
You'll know it's your comment. So.
Yeah, you'll know it's your comment if it was you. So,
put in the comments how you pronounce your name.
Yeah, like phonetically. I think we'll have to do that going forward with comments. Leave a comment below and also phonetically spell out what your name is. Oh dear. So, they go. We are likely the, in quotes, rebel on the Ascian Council. We were sundered with all the rest, and as each shard falls, that part of our soul is rejoined/reborn in the source. If there's a cycle of a warrior of light being reborn every time they are needed, then likely we have been getting stronger, more whole each time. Therefore, the Ascians have been setting up their own failure with each rejoining. So that's the idea of this is how it all happened before. Because basically he's referring to the point that you made about this infinite loop. Basically, the start of the game is the end of this game. You know what I mean? Like, and it keeps going. So maybe it's been going, I don't know, 7 times, yeah? And each time we're getting stronger to the point where we make a different decision. There's that whole idea. We've seen that in popular culture and movies for the longest time. I've done this before, haven't I? Only, including Red Dwarf, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
More references for Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It is an interesting. I mean, we are 8 times rejoined.
This is, 8
But
times.
here's the thing.
What?
I'm trying to think how to put it. If when you die, your ether is pushed into the ethereal sea, and it's all jumbled up, and then new people are born
on a little ethereal boat. Yeah.
Basically means we're not the same person as the old warriors of light. Surely, unless the ether stays. You know what I mean? So therefore, if they say we're 8 times rejoined, does that mean is basically?
Is that the idea of recycling something so many times that to the point where it's not the same entity anymore? It's like the idea of.
Well, I think what it means is
cloning, isn't it?
As everything's all the ether from the rejoins just goes into the ethereal sea, and then it's more ether basically. Whereas we're 8 times because Ardbert joined with.
That's true.
Which is actually our counterpart sort of thing, isn't it? Because we had the same sort of etheric flow or something, resonation or whatever.
I don't know what term they use, but yeah.
Yeah, that Ascian dude we talked to in the office who can see him says it, doesn't he? They're remarkably similar.
The caretaker dude.
Would that mean that... Which is a bit weird when you think about it, because we were... I mean, I don't know if our character in Ardbert's supposed to be the same age. How does the resonance sort of pick up? Is it something to do with the blessing, do you reckon?
I have absolutely no idea.
I mean, surely not every warrior of light that have been before has had the same ether. Because that doesn't make much sense. Does it?
Maybe that's the point. Maybe, oh God, this is another speculation. Maybe the only the only reason that the caretaker or whatever you want to call that character, I have no idea his name. I can't remember it. All right, the dude in the cowl that was recreated by Emmett's memory. Right?
Oh, isn't it
Hydotus? No, that's
that's Eureka. Let's not talk about that. Yeah, it's Hydolatus or something, isn't it? I'm sure someone.
Hydro potato. Yeah. Hydroacian man. There we go. And we'll go with that. But basically, like, the other theory is maybe we have done this all before, right? That's the idea. Yeah. But maybe this time the difference is that the hue of our ether is different, and that means something for some reason. Maybe every other time we've come through and we've had the same result, basically. Oh, okay, so that again. Maybe this time it's like, there's been like there's been a divergence in the force.
So basically saying that our ether isn't like normal ether, and therefore stays together, sort of thing.
Maybe that's how a true Ascian would be.
Wouldn't that be more credence towards being like the heart of Hydaelyn?
Yes.
Which then gives you another point, which is, was we sundered with the sundering, or did Hydaelyn sunder if we are the heart herself? Our choice.
So we can segue this into another comment that backs that up from James Duclos, sorry about that. Now, this is a really good point because I'd forgotten about this, and it's from the most recent dungeon, Amnesis and Ido, okay?
Yeah.
Where we're told about the story of Vinar.
Oh, yeah.
And you remember me telling you, oh my goodness, Vinar? That was used before, in Final Fantasy 12. I explained the whole idea of Vinar to you. So there's so many 12 references in this game, it's kind of getting a little bit like, oh, it might as well be Final Fantasy 12. Just slightly rejigged. So James says, I think we are Vinar, the heart of Hydaelyn. I'm not sure why I said the height of Hydaelyn. That would be like 5'2". The heart of Hydaelyn, the opposite of Elidibus, the heart of Zodiac. So we had that whole discussion last time about the idea of Zodiac, Hydaelyn, hearts, but Vinar would fit perfectly into that.
Yeah, it does bring me into a point that the Sundering, was it intentional or was it accidental?
Yeah. Maybe our true name is Vinar. We're not Meoni or James.
Yeah, because the more I thought about it after thinking about it, if you kill like the heart of Hydaelyn, Hydaelyn would die, right?
Maybe. Or weak, at least. Or she'd become mortal, so that mortal people could kill her as well.
So, therefore...
That's the speculation, isn't it? Like, if you take away the immortality factor, then everybody could attack her.
Yeah, but that's what I'm putting. That's the thing I was just randomly... I was thinking, well, if you do destroy the heart, if they die or become mortal or whatever, wouldn't that be a better plan for the Ascians than rejoining all the worlds? Because surely, if Hydaelyn dies, Zodiac's free anyway.
But maybe that's not that. Maybe if she dies, it takes something that they want. See, the whole idea behind a rejoining isn't just to remake the world in their image sort of thing or anything like that. It's actually to keep things as close to as they were before this whole thing happened, to bring back their friends and the world they knew. Maybe that they can't just simply take away the Hydaelyn aspect, because for whatever has changed, it wouldn't go back exactly how it was supposed to. It would be imperfect. There might be people missing, that sort of thing.
But surely, even if you got rid of Hydaelyn, even if the world, it'd make rejoining 10 times easier.
Right, but perhaps you need both balances of ether to make it work properly, otherwise you'll get basically a dark world.
Well, I mean, would the Source survive without Hydaelyn?
The Source is Hydaelyn.
Well,
our very planet is called Hydaelyn. It's ruled by a being called Hydaelyn, and Hydaelyn is supposed to be at the core of this world. Or is this world's core, or at least it's basically Gaia theory, okay? The idea of it, when you die, you go back to the planet and you come back as a tree.
Isn't it rather ironic that Hydaelyn's the name of the planet when Zodiac is actually the will of the star that they summoned?
Yeah, and it's literally a moon in the air. So, yeah, it is.
But my point was, if Hydaelyn has control over what she sunders, it would make, if she purposely sundered her heart into 14 shards onto different, it would make sense that the Ascians would go for the rejoining thing rather than trying to hunt 14 different people and trying to kill them.
I guess. Sense. The other question is, if we have 14 versions of ourselves, all right, let's just put this on paper. 14 versions of ourselves, all right, give or take a couple that we already know about, all right. Since there is actually some lore, apparently, how one of the bosses in... I was reading about this. I can't remember exactly, so don't, citation needed. But apparently one of the Return to Ivalice bosses, the storyline that was written somewhere, and I can't bring it up for the likelihood of me now. One of those bosses, something like that anyway, was supposed to be... Or was it in... No, sorry. It was in the Crystal Tower series. One of the bosses was supposed to be something to do with what was the fallen warrior of light from the void, basically.
Oh yeah.
So that's interesting.
Tin Pot theory: Elidibus is the heart of Hydaelyn.
Very interesting.
He was Vinar, the rogue who left the convocation, summoned Hydaelyn, saw what had happened with the Sundering and regretted it, and decided to try and fix that by trying to resummon Zodiac to rejoin the worlds.
Is that why he's so flippant with both sides?
He wears white. He's obsessed with balance.
He is obsessed with balance. Yes.
Maybe he thinks if he can get Zodiac to consume Heidelin, it would maybe.
But isn't that just a role Zodiac that he's playing, though? Because it's a title, isn't it, Elidibus?
Yes, that's what I mean. But then he could have been Vinal and then took the title of Elidibus after the Sundering.
Or perhaps when you take the title of an Ascian that's fallen, you actually gain all of their memories and ether into yourself.
Yeah, we don't know how the convocation really works.
Which would also give credence to the idea that how we still exist in this world. That when we die, we are basically reborn each time, and all the memories get passed on.
It would be an interesting theory if he was, and then he's literally trying to combine them to make the perfect balance to save Amarok, basically, because that's basically their plan.
Yeah, they want their old world back, whatever the world was before it was Heidelin, because obviously it's not Heidelin. It was just a world we've never seen.
Maybe he thinks that if they're combined, he can temper Zodiac's appetite for ether using Heidelin. Because I don't think Heidelin uses half as much ether as Zodiac and other Primals, do it?
Yeah.
When you think about it.
Here's an interesting question from me, okay? So, in the Fall of Amarok, the dungeon, etc., okay, you see a world below you being pelted by meteors. That's presumably when that summoning went ahead. Is that world Heidelin being formed? Or is that the world from the Ascian's world being pelted by the summoning? World. Right. So that's the only image we've seen of it is just big ball of fire that's messed up. But then why would the platform, other than being for like decoration, why would we be looking down upon the planet?
Well, if you remember when we walk in, MXL says, "Come, I will show you the fall."
So we're talking like a planetarium thing, or are we talking?
Well, when you look at it, you start in Amarok as you go through.
Yeah.
And then you progress to a wider picture. And if you think you start from like the second, I can't remember what they're called, first demise and second terror or whatever they're called, yeah?
Yeah.
So I think he's basically starting from the beginning, like it started small scale and then the world become consumed.
So you're basically walking through a hologram to some extent. Yeah, all right.
He's basically walking you through how it felt. So like at the beginning it's like the smaller stuff. Because you've got that little like maggotsy things, haven't you?
The only reason it threw me is the whole idea that we're looking down upon this world. So for some reason in my head I thought, oh, they have the capability of a space station, or this is from the moon, or what are we looking at here?
I just get the feeling it was literally like a backdrop memory.
It probably was. It just
showing you how the world was burning.
Yeah.
Because I mean, when you think about it, if I was to say, oh,
but wouldn't we be able to see that if they'd shown us on the ground?
Not really. You wouldn't get the sense of scale, would you? I mean, like it'd be like if saying the whole of the UK is burning, but I'm going to put you in your hometown.
All right, fair enough. Point taken.
Your town's burning and it's bad, but you don't get the wider scale. If you put you in looking down, you could see the whole of the UK is just burning.
Well, let's hope my town burns down so I get better internet. Because at least then we can rebuild with better infrastructure than we have.
Yeah, I think it's just literally trying to impress the scale of the devastation.
Yeah.
I think that's more than anything.
Oh, okay. Do you want to move on to another comment?
Yeah.
All right. This is from Random Korean Guy. I've seen this guy before in the comments section. I smile every time I say it. So, so this is a boss prediction. Okay. It says, my boss prediction involves a little bit of explaining. So get your tinfoil hat out. Based on where Xenos is being steered by that new white robe figure, I think, that like chemist guy, you remember? I think.
Oh, it wasn't a theory that's Ayashi or whatever?
I'll finish this and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I think Xenos will use the probably Resonant, to absorb all of the shards of Zodiac and reunite him without needing a rejoining. That will expedite the end of the Ascian story without requiring it to be drawn out even further. I bet his hubris will make him think he can overpower Zodiac the way he did Shinryu, but let's be real. Zodiac is made up of the essences of countless Asians and is way more powerful than Shinryu. The second he's fully rejoined, Xenos will be essentially dead, and it will be revealed that this was Hades' sneaky backup plan.
There's only one problem. I don't think he can't absorb the shards.
Okay.
I mean, if he could absorb the shards, surely the Asians could do it.
Well, maybe. Or maybe that...
I mean, you're not going to be able to... you couldn't literally absorb the entire first. To be fair, he hadn't actually been shown absorbing ether. He's just possessed the primal.
Yeah. I don't really know.
Unless it's a bit thing. He's on about. He's thinking he is gunning for Hylian and Zodiac, trying to basically control them, isn't he?
I think that's his plan. That's more through. I don't know if it's directly.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I really don't have enough in my head right now to comment on that further too much, because
I think I read a theory. It was that white robe figure had looked similar to Tsukiyomi, whatever her name was.
Her actual yeah. Although that was Thingy, wasn't it?
Hayashi. What's his name?
Asahi Sasprutus.
Yeah, that's the one. Someone said it was like him.
Hayashi is a former raid member.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's where you're getting confused.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, and neither of them. Yeah. Anyway, let's move on from that. Before I say something stupid. What was I going to say? So basically, I don't know enough about the idea of collecting shards or something. I don't know why, but my brain's just fixated of like a Sonic the Hedgehog character going around and collecting rings.
I mean, as far as I understand it, Zodiac's not actually been sundered.
Yeah,
as in the
I don't.
Zodiac. The planet was sundered, but Zodiac is. Because to be honest, I actually think the sundering was the shards, reflections, are actually more like conduits or amplifiers to keep the prison intact. Because when you think about it, releasing Zodiac after like only 7 planets means basically it's half.
It would also, I mean, are you saying that Zodiac is?
As in, basically, how you think about it is Hylian's actively keeping the prison closed by using the reflections as like maybe amplifiers or conduits or something.
Is that a reason that the moon is so small?
Could be. And then obviously if you take so many like amplifiers away, she can no longer have enough force to keep it closed against Zodiac's pressure output.
So if it was the other way around, Zodiac would be the planet and we'd be the little floaty moon going around it.
Could be.
Maybe that compression of ether, literally compression, means that it is that compressed moon that you see that's tiny.
Yeah, so, and then the ether's pushing out and Hylian's physically having to keep it together.
If she fails to do that, it might even turn into a normal planet.
Which might be why the sundering was necessary, because the reflections might actually work as like an amplifier.
Oh, yeah.
As a power. So basically, her power has actually been amplified by the reflections, and in all directions, keeping it all closed. Well, and as you take them out, the power weakens.
So that gives the other idea that we had of the idea of freeing Zodiac. Then, from a science scale, if that was a thing where suddenly we had 2 worlds orbiting each other, that's going to be bad for people on this planet.
Yeah.
That's not just having a moon that affects tides, that's having literally identical size globes spinning around. Although
I think the reflections are actually aren't actually in the same world, aren't they?
Oh, here we go, because we're going to go with the whole World of Warcraft thing, where there was literally, like, they literally made a portal in the sky to bring a planet closer. I can't even make this up. So Draenor is, like, many light years away or whatever. Okay, you won't understand any of this. So there's a planet millions of light years away that these alien species fled from, and then they came to Azeroth, which is the planet in World of Warcraft that you play on, right? But the whole plot line was like creating a portal in the sky, basically, but it ended up bringing the planet within range of the other planet, so you could just go on a little rocket up to it. But there was magic to protect from all the sciencey stuff. So what I'm saying is, if you undid Zodiac's thing, would he manifest as a giant mecha in space, or would it literally be flourish into a planet, and then we've got two worlds colliding sort of thing, and then that's the end of everything?
Well, Zodiac necessarily is the will of the star, but it has a physical form. Right. So I imagine it might be that the moon bursts, a bit like Dalamud.
So and then Zodiac. Where's Heidelin's physical form?
Heidelin's physical form is in the Ethereal Sea. She's a big crystal, isn't she?
Right, but that's not.
That's the form she's chosen to take. There's nothing to say she can't change it.
I see. But this planet would basically, it's still a shell, right? It's still
basically like Zodiac's trapped inside an egg.
So doesn't that mean that Heidelin's put herself inside of a slightly bigger egg with people on it?
Well, it might literally be the source is like the control room, and she has to be inside it. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's the Matrix.
Yeah, and with the World of Warcraft reference, all I got from that was it sounded exactly like a plotline from Doctor Who.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know which came first. Probably Doctor Who. I don't know.
I don't actually.
I don't really care, but it's been stuff like that's been repeated in culture forever.
I mean, it would make sense to why you'd only need 7 rejoinings, because then the power would literally wane off enough that Heidelin could no longer keep him contained.
I was going to say, like, you only need to weaken it enough for Zodiac to have the strength to break through, and then he'll do the rest of the work. But then you've got, like, this cosmic battle on your hands. Or maybe, there you go, Zodiac's freed. Heidelin doesn't want to free herself from this planet because it would kill us all. So she dumps all of her energy into us, and we become what she would be in her physical form to fight Zodiac.
Well, here's the other point. Can she escape?
Probably not, which is probably why she would give all of her ether to us instead.
I suppose it comes back to the point we had right at the beginning about her only objective is to keep Zodiac imprisoned. Therefore, she wouldn't care about if she imprisoned herself as long as she does what she's programmed to do, sort of thing. Which means they could both literally be imprisoned. It's just she's got a bit more free reign.
Did she imprison herself?
Yeah, quite possibly. She could have summoned and imprisoned herself, but obviously she got more outside influence than Zodiac.
So maybe the theory is the only way to win in this, because she knew that Zodiac would come back anyway, is to like populate herself as a physical form with people to give ether into to make a new deity.
Basically, she's put herself into the system like a battery.
Yeah, to power us.
To power like all the reflections to keep him imprisoned.
And also to try and groom somebody who can actually help.
Maybe, yeah.
This also gives a little bit of thing of why it was also so when Emmett Selk is like seeing if we can survive more and more ether as we absorb all of the light in Novran. Every time he's like, oh, you're more resilient than I thought, sort of thing. Like, it's basically saying, oh, wow, you literally can eat the entire planet's worth of light, can't you? Wow. I know we use that on Hades themselves, right? But the point is that it feels to me like testing the limits of the corporeal form. And I think that might be a good bit of training for Heidelin, maybe dumping more than that in us.
Oh, well, I'm not sure if I doubt we'd actually be able to contain what the Light Wardens had, which wasn't exactly big compared to what Heidelin would have. I think it was more tested to see if it was worthy enough to
or we're a vessel of the heart of Hydaelyn, and she wants to test if our vessel is actually up to scratch. So she puts us through that ordeal and actually brings us to that world and puts us on that path. And Emmett was well aware of it. That's a tinfoil hat conspiracy. Yeah. But it's also interesting because it means that it also explains why Elidibus was like, oh, you poor misguided fool to like Emmett Selk sort of thing. Because they all had very different objectives and none of them were really known.
Yeah. I do find it interesting that, if Zodiac is actually freed, would literally everything just rejoin? Or would it literally just be a physical form? Which is, I think it's the biggest question.
It is a big question.
Because if the source is called Hydaelyn, but it's technically, I suppose, Zodiac, but Hydaelyn's inside it, would all the worlds just bang straight out together? And
like Concertina.
Then what would happen to Hydaelyn?
I don't know. But anyway, let's go to another comment. Yeah. We've got CYN or Sin, I don't know, whichever, right? So 5 days ago, my theory, Elidibus intends to use these new Warriors of Light, since we saw those new ones, right, which still hasn't been explained, to summon Hydaelyn and force us to kill her, thereby causing the rejoining to begin, allowing Zodiac to be free so Xenos can absorb him. Then 6.0 will essentially be our version of the WoW Cataclysm. Hydaelyn certainly fits in the blank spaces from a live letter, and Yoshi P said it wasn't who we would expect. So, yeah, true. Well, it's a theory.
I'm not sure you can summon a Primal that's already been summoned.
No, but like, the point that Sin is making is that Hydaelyn inside planet, summon it as physical form outside of planet, and fight it, and kill it.
We talked about this earlier, didn't we? It's like, it wouldn't be the same Hydaelyn, would it?
No, because of the way that summoning works. But it might be different for an Elder Primal. Maybe you can only have one at one place. Maybe it's like this, okay? You summon Hydaelyn on one shard, right? Oh, Hydaelyn, can you help me? I've cut my arm off. And she's like, oh my goodness, okay. And then she gets basically paged and then teleported instantly away. Kind of like a Charmed reference, basically, with a white lighter. Being basically literally a white lighter. Oh my god. I didn't even realize the connotations. Gets teleported away before she's even finished the job. Oh yeah, I've broke my leg. Damn it, Warrior of Light. Can you stop breaking your leg? And then gets teleported away to another place. Oh, something's trying to eat me. And it's like Leviathan in another world training. It's like, I give up. I just give up. But,
can we just touch on these Warriors of Light?
Yeah.
We're only assuming at this point they can actually hear Hydaelyn, right?
I mean, it's the voice of Zodiac, isn't it?
We don't know.
My 2 cents on this would be that they are listening to Zodiac's mumblings as opposed to Hydaelyn's. But then how would that work for Elidibus? You see, that's the thing. Elidibus is such a weird character in terms of what is where is he going with this? And I think it's such brilliant story writing. But then when we finally find out, it's going to suck.
I mean, yeah, it seems like, why would Zodiac just basically repeat what Hydaelyn says?
To trick them into that and then gives them dark ether? I don't know.
It doesn't give them anything, does it? I mean, let's be honest, the Warriors Light...
Or maybe it's the idea of legitimately pretending to be Hydaelyn, but then if you have the willpower for it, you naturally get ether and you can go and do good things in the world and it'll push the balance back to white. I don't know.
Well, technically speaking, aren't just Warriors of Light just normal people with the Echo unless you have the blessing?
So if you pushed the first to complete white and destroyed everything, right, and the flood took over, would it be a white void?
Yes. That's the thing. They had to get the rejoining before it was completely done.
So,
wasn't it? Like they said, they had to put it in balance, but not completely.
How many of those worlds would you have to end to bring back the rejoining? Is it all of them or just one?
It's one. They've already said They only need one more.
So is that the idea of the black void and the white void colliding?
No, the void is dead. The 13th.
Yeah.
And it can't be used. They need a calamity to happen on the source, which was Black Rose, wasn't it? To align with the light ether to put a rejoining, but they have to if it goes over too much, it's like the void became almost devoid of ether because they pushed it too far, and then light ether is the opposite, where it basically stagnates ether into where there's so much ether but it doesn't move, which means it probably must be crap as well, I'd imagine. In my mind, anyway. I think they have to get a balance of instability, and then hit a rejoin, and then hit a calamity on the thing to pull the ether out before it's oversaturated.
Yeah,
I think.
All right, well, let's go to another comment then. Androiden agrees with the other person who says, the next big bad, I think, is Vinar, who I believe is the guy in the white robe, which means Xenos would be a minor villain and not the big bad.
That would be a turn-up, although is that Vinar who's been sundered?
I don't think it's Vinar.
No.
Something tells me that it's just a dude who is just working as a bit of a puppeteer. I don't think, even though we have the whole Ascian behind the Garlean Empire thing, I think Xenos would be aware if he was, especially with his resonant powers or whatever you want to call them. And also, it just doesn't seem plausible. That white-robed guy, has been in a few cutscenes now, not just more recent ones. The guy was in the Clockwork City of Moog, getting bits and pieces. And it was also that Imperial Legatus that was basically Gabranth, will be introduced to us in the Resistance Weapon series. So my connection to that is, this is a guy that's been seen in the Ivlis series. Therefore, I think Xenos will be a boss, perhaps literally thrown away into whatever the new Baldessian arsenal will be. Because he represents the Garlean Empire's, I don't know, actually. I don't know what he represents, but there's definitely something to do with, there's some ulterior motive. Okay, so the white-robed figure, they're going around in the Alliance Raid series. Okay, yeah, it's a cool Alliance Raid series and the storyline is great, but that's not why the Garlean people are there. The white-robed figure is collecting artifacts as a means to an end. Presumably that was for the creation of, some people speculate that was where the idea of Black Rose came from or whatever, right? Or an other super weapon, basically, of some description. Yeah. So why would the same white-robed figure be in a room with Xenos if it wasn't connected?
Well, unless it was also part of the Resonant program.
It could have been, yeah, actually. I want to know what they got from a Clockwork City of Moog, though. Because we did not... That's the thing. We go to these places in this game, and as a Warrior of Light, we're like, yeah, we go in there, we kill the boss, and then we walk out. But then it's like, okay, everybody else comes in and gets all of the good bits.
Yeah.
It's like, there's all these artifacts and things. It's like... It's probably like the Ark of the Covenant at the bottom of the Crystal Tower. You know, we don't even go down there. We're not interested. You know, there's probably like... Just...
Yeah, things
really
like...
bad things.
Like we left the ultimate weapon with the Heart of Sabik in it.
Yeah, like that's insane.
That thing can summon ultimate. Why the hell will you leave it there?
Yeah, at least have like a Black Mage storyline where you have to go back into the ruins of Castrum Praetorium on as a solo instance with Tross or something with the Black Mage quest line people from the job hall. Yeah. Here you go. 6.0 Black Mage quest line. You go back into Castrum Praetorium, the ruins of it, to try and find the Heart of Sabik to learn Demi Ultima, because whatever's left of it can teach you that. Okay? And as a direct result, they use the trust system, which would be amazing, but they incorporate for just that quest, or like an adventure squadron system, because they're thinking of replacing that, I think, with the characters from the Black Mage quest lines, the role people, and you go through there, and then they use that as a tool to tell those storylines. And then the ultimate thing at level 90 would be you actually, going in that Praetorium dungeon as yourself, fighting whatever's left in there. So it could be like a malformed manifestation of the Heart of Sabik that's a monster got stuck into or something, and then you kill it and you get the stone, which is shattered, but there's a fragment of it and it teaches you Demi Ultima, and that's where we get that. Because you're never going to get Ultima, James. I'm sorry. It's too powerful. It's an atom bomb. Right? But we can give you something close to it, right? I'm not sure where that would fit in your rotation, but then again, they redesign classes all the time, so... Although Black Mage doesn't really get that much. But I like the idea of getting more of these like artifacts and bits and pieces. I do feel that it's kind of like we're bad guys. We're sat in a room. We're looking out the window. There's a dungeon full of really, really bad guys that we can't be bothered to deal with. Warrior of Light comes along, clears that out. Okay, then buggers off. And we go, all right, about that time, eh, chaps? All right, fair do. And you go in there and you pick up like this stone, and it can end worlds. And that's the plot for another expansion. And you're like, Warrior of Light, really? You could have taken the Garland Expeditionary team, the Ironworks, and they could have done it instead of... Like, that's the other thing. Where the bloody hell... I mean, I know there's an airship at the end in that cutscene, but if they're going to dock an airship and just go around with no, like, challenge and go and pick up the bits and pieces, wouldn't it be a good idea, since we know that these relics and things of that kind of thing were... behind boss's control, like there was these horrible things stood in the way, wouldn't it be a good idea for us to set up bases in each of these places we go to with a forward expeditionary team, same as we have for St. Coinex Find, which is
an armed guard, make sure
and we got grand companies for a reason. Okay, so where's that? That's Dalmascus. That would be the Aldar of it. That would be the Immortal Flames, wouldn't it? Who would be in charge potentially of that?
Not Damascus.
Oh, actually,
That's far east. That'd be Doma.
Yeah, the Domans then.
Yeah.
Well, they're part of the Eorzean Alliance, inverted commas. So
yeah, I mean, Praetorium.
The Eorzean Alliance anymore.
Well, they're not part of the Eorzean Alliance. It's an alliance between the Eorzean Alliance and the Doman, whatever they call it.
Yeah, I'm sure in the future we'll have a cutscene where it'll be like, it's now the Eorzean Alliance is no more. Now it is the Hydaelyn Alliance or something, and it'll be like the world, like the UN, basically. Oh, God. And then, as the coming years go by, and when they try to replace the currency, one of the countries just decides to completely throw away that and get rid of all the laws and try and go their own way. And it backfires terribly, and that isn't a reflection on real life at all.
Honestly.
Obviously. Okay. You got more to say on that point, or should we move on?
No, we can go.
Right. Cam the Kitty. I remember putting this one in here. I can't remember why. Cam the Kitty says, "We are the Scions. Who says we can't use other members?" Oh, right. This is in relation to me saying that, like, there's a lot of Scions that we don't really have anything about, and they just sort of sit on their ass all day. Right. Yeah. We are the Scions. Who says we can't use other members? Hoary Boulder and the like. People joke, but we have other members. Kryl has also always healed, by the way, James.
Yeah, but let's be honest.
You said that you've never seen her in combat and stuff, and that you don't know what job she'd be. But there you go, healer.
No,
White mage, I think.
We still never seen her in combat. And
it's true.
If you ever put, I mean, so
what are the qualifications for being a Scion?
There isn't any.
That's why we have Hoary Boulder.
I mean, literally, when you think about it, literally there is no qualifications. It's just, you want to join the Scion? Yeah, sure.
I think they should elect a new leader of the Scions, and it should be Hoary.
Well, technically, isn't Alphino sort of the semi-leader?
Alphino couldn't lead like an army of racists. Like, look at the Crystal Braves. What was that mess? Yes, it was a bit of like, just no. Alphino is just, he's not there. Some people hated on me for being bad about Alphino last time, but he's not there.
why aren't the Scions doing a massive recruiting campaign for people who have the Echo?
Well, Elidibus is doing more work than they have in like 100 years.
Literally, Elizabeth has managed to make a better primal fighting force than the Scions have in their entire history.
Well, yeah, look at the people they had in that cutscene. There was like 35 odd people, 30 to 40 people, and they all had actual jobs. They had armor equipped.
Yeah.
Like half of them were like Hrothgar.
And he unlocked the Echo in them.
And yeah, they have the Echo. It's like, that's kind of an unkillable force right there.
Let's be honest, the Scions' main goal is to rid the world of primal threats.
Can't we do the same thing? Can't we just go up to people and go, "You are now a Scion," and they're like, "Huh?"
I suppose technically we could, yeah. But I mean, if you think about it, if you take us out of the picture, and over Arenvold,
yeah, whatever his name is,
then the Scions can't even do their job because they literally can't fight any primals. Because no one else can actually go against them. As far as we know is in the Scions.
That's true.
Which makes them literally the worst recruiting organisation in history.
Maybe they don't want to recruit people. Maybe it's just like invite only. You know, we want to make sure we keep tabs on who's going around and doing things. It's hard enough as it is because people make dumb decisions in the Scions.
But surely you'd be going, right, what are fight primals? What do we need? We need people with the Echo. Right, let's get some of them.
Wasn't that kind of like the first step of what the Crystal Braves was supposed to be?
No, the Crystal Brave was the first step of a united Eorzean.
Yeah, but they answered pretty much to the Scions.
They answered to. They're technically maybe separate from the Scions.
Technically, but as technically as
their commanding officer was a Scion, so
yeah, as technically as a PMC gets.
Yeah, so I would have. But I mean, how many of the Crystal Braves have the Echo?
I don't know. Well, we know that the Griffin didn't.
Yeah. So it's like.
But that wasn't needed anyway to summon a primal.
Yeah, but it's like. So without us and our quote friends, which happen to be nowhere ever around in any cutscenes, but happen to be able to show up. Do you reckon our friends are actually time travelers and could just pop out of anywhere like Gaia?
That's kind of entertaining as an idea.
Yeah, it's like, we're going to fight Ravana. I need people. Pop.
Maybe it's like a distance thing. Like whenever you're in danger. I mean, I know we were in the dream world during the Bosgen cutscenes with the relics.
Yeah.
But we did, in the dream world, we just were like, I need my closest friends to aid me. And then suddenly it's like, then they're all there. Well, that could kind of work in the real world as well, I guess.
Your character's got like 7 other people with eternity rings.
Yeah. Oh my god! So you like your fingers are just blinged out.
Well, no, think about it. They never all come at once because when you look at the cutscenes, they all come in at different times when they teleport in. So basically, maybe they all have eternity rings linked to each other. So one teleports to you, then they teleport to them, and they teleport to them.
It's a good job we're not relying on Lise all the time or something like that because, she's always drinking tea with Kryl and Y'shtola, so. I bet you the first thing that Y'shtola will do, if and when she comes back to the source, will go and have a cup of tea with Kryl, and we'll get another side story posted on the lodestone of her going, that was a journey.
They do drink a lot of tea.
They do. They're like me. It's kind of worrying. No one should drink that amount of tea, apart from me. It's not good for you. This is true. All right, let's go on to the last couple of comments then. Kira FG, oh god, this is a long one, puts, and this is an edited post, so they've refined it a bit. Maybe, and this is a far stretch, we will actually finally kill Xenos in 5.3. He was referred to as an Ascian in all but name, so maybe his death The death of basically an Ascian will be used as a catalyst by Elidibus. Like the lives of immortals were used as a catalyst to summon Shinryu to partly break Zodiac's chain, and the 5.x series is us, well, I guess 6.x series he means, is us trying to stop Elidibus from breaking all of the chains, etc. Elidibus was the one that pointed Ardbert to the direction he took. Maybe that was a test of his theory. Also, maybe each time we kill an Ascian, it equals the power of a rejoining, which could be something that Elidibus was studying on the moon away from everyone because it can be seen as heretic from the Ascians themselves. Okay. Anything to say?
I doubt they're going to push Xenos out this at the moment. I still think he's basically set up to be the end game boss is 6.0, I think.
I agree. Unfortunately, I think that Xenos is here for the long play.
I think he's going to be tied into the ending of Hydaelyn and Zodiac.
Yeah, I don't think he will be killed off in 5.3 as a catalyst or anything like that, because you don't build up a character in this whole resonant storyline without fleshing that out. Think about what we have. We have technically 2 resonants known to existence. Okay, one's Fordola, that's kind of like chaotic good. She's going and fighting primals, for goodness sake. She's doing pretty good work where we're not. Whilst we're off sunning it up in the light basked world of the Thirst, she's going and killing primals like Garuda. Go and read the short stories on that. So she's very interesting, and you can base a lot of her success to a percent of Xenos, because Xenos is a formidable fighter before that, but now he's kind of indestructible to some degree.
The thing is, I think Xenos' main goal is literally finding us and having another crack at us, isn't it? His friend.
I mean, the rivalry. Yeah, he's an unhinged character. This is why I don't think he will be remotely killed off anytime soon. Because as much as it annoys me to say that, Xenos is going to be a bad character for yet another thing, he could just be one of, those. Yeah. It could be just the 6.0 final storyline where you fight, like the Hades thing, right? Yeah. And he finally dies then. But when he does die, it starts the storyline of, oh no, what's happened? The 6.x series 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Because of how we've seen it with Shadowbringers. Yeah. I don't think he's going to die anytime soon. Whether or not he will obviously have a part to play with the end of Shadowbringers. Okay, that is very much, because you have to remember these last few patches, the last couple of patches are going to be finishing off the storyline we have, bringing the Scions home potentially with cliffhangers, possibly, and maybe even a death.
It's 5.3, the end of Shadowbringers, and then we ramp it up.
Yes, that's what I'm getting to. So, like, you could have, I know that character next to us. We could have a death, and then we could have the resolve of why we need to go in. So, maybe it'll probably be heavily related to Xenos.
I imagine 6.0, yeah, the run up.
Yeah, no, but the end of the expansion. So let's say, what is it, 5.4? Okay. 5.4 or so. Xenos is introduced in one of the final cutscenes, and we see the resolve of why 6.0 needs to exist and where we're going for that expansion.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's how it looks on paper.
In regards to the Ascians dying is part of the rejoining, doesn't really make much sense. I mean, the only reason Ascians are immortal is because their ether skips back into a void space, doesn't get sucked into the ethereal sea, does it?
I think so, yeah.
So basically what the Auroside does is traps them, and then you hit them, and it scatters their ether, which means they can't. Which is
essentially death, yeah, because it's unretrievable.
And then all their ether is sucked into the ethereal sea. And I think I don't see how they would have enough ether to.
It's effectively the idea of like a zombie, right? You can't kill it, but if you chop off its limbs, its head, and all of its bits and pieces and scatter them to 4 different corners of the world, it's technically dead because it can't do anything. unless you brought all those pieces back together.
Yeah, I mean, they are literally just ether. It's just they've found a way to skip being pulled into the ethereal sea and disperse, basically, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, you've got Forden did it with Lara Bray, right? It's just literally, I'll suck you up like a vacuum cleaner.
Forden is a Dyson.
It pretty much was, and it's like, well, if they had that much ether to do anything towards Zodiac's prison,
they should have renamed that patch "Sucked Off by Forden."
Oh God!
It would have got more people to play it. Definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of people missed out on the expansions.
Well, I mean, can you imagine if an Ascian had enough ether to actually move parts of a rejoining thing? How hardcore Forden would be with that amount of ether.
That'd be pretty fun, actually. Okay, let's go on to the last comment of the storyline stuff, at least. From N642113119. Yes, that's their name. They put, I'm waiting to find out that we're Hydaelyn's thralls, and that the Ascians are Zodiac's thralls. Remember, La Habrea continuously referred to Zodiac as his god. Emmett Selk explained both are primals. We can't be tempered by primals because the echo is us being tempered by Hydaelyn already. That's the what they say. But the resonant are something else, not thrall to any power and resistant to tempering. I'd love to see a final storyline where we break free of Hydaelyn and Zodiac by becoming resonant, and finally the people of the Source are free from the influence of primals, including Hydaelyn and Zodiac. I mean, we touched on that last week a bit.
I mean, resonant is just basically say, I don't think the echo is being tempered.
No?
No, that seems a bit...
I mean, I don't necessarily think they're becoming...
I mean, technically speaking, that would make a resonant tempered because it's literally using someone else's tempering echo.
I mean, don't we only exist because of Hydaelyn anyway? All of the people you see around you in Limsa right now.
Well, technically speaking, they existed before. It's just they're just reduced to what they are.
They're recompiled ether from a former.
Yeah,
image.
basically, they're basically like a recycled waste.
Like technically, kind of we are as well at that character creation menu that we speculated.
Yeah, basically, like we're recycled ether, aren't we?
Pretty much, yeah. It's interesting, but
I don't see. I
do like the idea of the thralls, though, because that's something I've come up with before, that, you know, we would be tempered by Hydaelyn, and I don't know about the whole Zodiac thing, because at the minute, we're discovering more and more about sort of like our dark past, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I know. It's fine, I don't mind. Our dark past, or whatever you want to call it, and we're not who we think we are. But perhaps that also means that, unlike the rest of these people around us right now, you know, we're supposed to be different. They're not supposed to be one of us, really.
No.
We're special. Maybe we're not tempered by either. We're just, I don't know. The blessing of light is a real problem to me in terms of the storyline.
Well, the blessing of light is different to the echo, isn't it?
It seems just like a gift you get when you summon Hydaelyn. Basically.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a gift that she chooses to give a certain person.
But you can't seem to refuse it.
Oh no, but it allows you to push yourself beyond mortal limits, doesn't it?
Right, but if you can't refuse a gift, that makes it a force, like a forceful move.
Yeah, but that'd be like me giving you telekinesis against your will. It doesn't mean you're tempted.
Yeah, but I might not want telekinesis, but then you're going to complain when I don't use it for good.
Well, that's the whole point of free will, isn't it?
Well, yeah. And that's an entirely different topic, but yeah.
No, I mean, when you think our character doesn't, when you look at the people who have been tempered, it doesn't really follow, does it? Tempered people generally tend to follow the path of what Primal is doing. It seemed to be, I mean, literally properly focused. I mean, on what the Primal, like when you see like people who are Ifrit, who's angry, then the people they temper tend to be angry, sort of thing.
Was there always primals and gods? That's my question.
So, well, I mean, technically speaking, I suppose the Amarot's creation magic is basically the controlled summoning of primals, because they could summon wherever they wanted. I mean, a primal is just a construct. So all that creation magic that they could summon stuff into being, like the monsters that came from their nightmares, I suppose is kind of like them just summoning primals constantly.
I guess, yeah. It's on a whole new level, isn't it?
Yeah, new and nightmarish primals.
So when the world was first cooling and the first one of the first inhabitants, these ancient people, they had the free will and power to do what they wanted, and that was them basically their own downfall was their own creations. When it ultimately resulted in the summoning of these great primals, when they discovered how to tame their art, which actually falls into the lore book of how the calamities came to be.
Although we don't know exactly why it happened in Amarot, do we?
It also explains why the lore, the encyclopedia book with the whole series I've been reading recently, would be like, you're not actually reading about calamities that took place. That first page, the first 3, did not take place on Hydaelyn. That's what I'm getting from this in my head, that this is what it was before it was Hydaelyn. Because it just sounds so primitive, like, because they're talking about how the first people on the planet discovered magic, basically, out of in a cave, and then they were able to create things.
I mean, technically speaking, would there be people straight after the Sundering?
No, you've got a good point. I guess there would be that whole, like,
or would everyone have been
rebirth?
Would everyone have been reduced to ether, and then that ether is split into 14 different shards?
Does that not mean then that everyone's reduced to like, there's caveman walking around, okay, with mammoths and things, and then there's just like Selk walking through there in his outfit, going, for goodness sake. Or like, he just goes, oh boy.
I suppose technically speaking, he wouldn't be in the outfit, because that was an outfit. I don't know if that's his actual.
Yeah, you know what I mean, though. Like him just walking around going, oh no, what's happened now? And there's just these, like,
pretty much,
those actions going, oh really? What have they done?
Well, it also begs the question of how they survived the Sundering. I mean,
that is a good question, actually.
Where were they? What were they doing? That everyone else, apart from 3 people, was it 3 or was it 4?
I don't know.
Something like that. 3 or 4 didn't get sundered. I mean, they must have been literally outside of the planet, right?
They must have been, yeah.
They can't have been on the planet when
That's
the planet was sundered.
I've got this whole thing of maybe the Amarotians did have space travel and had a space station.
Well,
I'm not being funny or anything, but it would make sense.
Well, the Asians were the ones that built the Allegan Empire. The Allegan Empire built Dalamud.
There's so much weird stuff with the Allegan Empire that needs to be explained, because it doesn't fit in properly. When you read through all of the stories, you're like, so are they part of what are they? What is the Garlean Empire? Is the Garlean Empire basically a rebirth of the idea of the Allegan Empire as just like a second attempt?
Yeah, it seems like, well, no, it's not a second attempt. It seems like MXLs are creating stuff to create chaos, to create calamities. And the calamities basically have to wipe out the Empire because it's a calamity.
Mm-mm.
So therefore he has to rebuild to start again, which seems like the Allegans did their bit with Dalamud and literally destroyed half the world. Yeah. And now they're doing the same with the Garlean Empire to cause more chaos, to push it towards the glimpse of calamity again for another rejoining. But it does make you wonder if the Assassins knew about how to make like Dalamud. Yeah. You would imagine they probably would have had something similar in. But then again, Amarot's only one city out of an entire world.
That is true. Yeah.
We don't know if the Amarotians are the only race there. There could have been hundreds of different races.
I imagine, okay, in my head, it being like Coruscant, that Amarotians refers to the city of the entire planet.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I see the whole idea of Amarot being the name of the city-wide planet, like Coruscant. I know that's probably wrong, but it would make sense.
I got the impression that the whole planet wasn't covered in a city. It seemed like there's a lot of open space. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there was some water as well, wasn't there, on that big map?
Yeah, it seems like there's like
I'm half tempted to go into Amarot Dungeon right now and have a look at that on the last boss.
It seems to me like, because when I was in some of the quests in Amarot, it's like, oh, they need to tell the others and stuff like that, or Amarot, or you should see like the falls started to happen in the outer reaches, but we should be all right here in Amarot.
Yeah.
So I think Amarot was like a big city for the Amarotians, but maybe those other races, because there was no war or anything else.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering whether it's just like an entirely peaceful, just people scattered around in different cities. And then something happened that pushed the creation magic out of control in the far reaches and it kind of spread.
It's an interesting thing, and hopefully we get some answers to this. You've also got the whole problem that, okay, so when people make science fiction stories, they always talk about aliens from another world, okay? But they never give any thought to the idea that those aliens might have an accent based on the dialect or region they're from on that planet, that alien world.
No.
And they always see, for example, planet Vulcan has Vulcans on it. Okay, they might have different skins, but that's mostly because the actors have different skin colors, right? Because it's based on humans, right? Playing as actors, right? That's the only real differences. There's no differences in dialect and stuff. The only time they had to write that stuff in was way later when they realized, oh, wait, actually, yeah, that makes more sense. But Gene Roddenberry is a perfect example of many, many people who have written books and science fiction stories where you're like, this is a Vulcan, this is a person from X. It's like, well, no, because you don't refer to yourself as a human, do you? You refer to yourself as an Englishman from the United Kingdom. Same as if you were to go into space. Yeah, we're human, but there are many different people from very many different backgrounds. That's what I find interesting about this as well, is the idea that these are the Amarotians, which are the ancients. It seems to me more likely that Yoshi P and the team, or Odo-san, who probably wrote this stuff, it's more likely that they were just trying to find the name of the people from this planet rather than realizing to themselves, actually, we need to think of people from this city and this city.
Although I do think 7.0, we're going to actually, after the end of Heidelin and Zodiac, I think we're going to push into what happened to Amara. And I think that's going to be the next big bad, the one that caused the fall of Amara. And
then, Star Wars is another example with Tatooine, right? It's always focusing on the same little town place, basically, with moisture farms outside of it. Yeah. You never see the rest of the planet.
No, but then again, we've never actually seen Amara.
Right, yeah.
So it seems memory, haven't we?
It seems short-sighted.
And if he did, to be fair, he could literally be like, well, I don't care about all these other races, I only care about my people. So he's only literally memories of his own people, though.
The other reason that they do this in science fiction and stories in general is also to not detract away from the storyline at hand. The only reason that we have Limsa Uldar and culture and thingy is because we need that sort of backstory for our characters. It saves a lot of time and money not thinking about these things and not writing them out, which you could be accused of calling it lazy, and I would be on the border because it irritates me, but not enough to really complain about. But yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting. But anyway, we've rattled on about lore for enough. So let's just go across. There's 3 little comments because at sort of like the midway or halfway section towards the end of the last tea time, we did ask people what they would want as quality of life improvements. So we've got 3 comments here in no particular order. Broder Bear says, I'd like them to announce that you can craft from your retainer and saddlebag inventories. That's something that would really revolutionize crafting, in my opinion. I think that that's a logical step because you can never have an inventory full of everything you need, especially if because a lot of the collectible synthesis as well, it takes up one slot, right, in your inventory every time you craft it. So maybe even a better quality of life thing would be to have those stack if they are the same quality or something. But even though that wouldn't work because they're always slightly different numbers.
Are you talking while every retainer is summoned or just anywhere?
That's another question. But yeah,
because
crafting from...
that would be a lot of work to be able to do it everywhere.
I don't know.
Well, I mean,
but you can do iSearch, right? So iSearch brings up, if you do / iSearch Allergen, right, it will give you a list of all of the things in your retainer that have the prefix Allergen. So there is a functionality to search through retainers when they're not summoned, but it's based on when you last summoned it, is when it basically creates like a cache, right, of the stuff that was there at that time.
The problem would be it would need permission to access retainer data from anywhere in the world.
Well, it just needs to access that cache data from anywhere in the world, and then you'd be able to go on that. But the other problem with that is if you're using that data, it might not be perfect because it's not actual. And you could also be open to duplication issues.
Yeah, which means that actually have to directly access retainer data directly.
That's why it's tricky.
Which is a bit of a security issue because retainers have access to market boards.
Yeah, and guild.
Market board servers.
Right, but if you were guild capped and it duplicated the guild, that's a bad situation. That's the fall of the game.
Yeah, it's basically, I think it's more going to be a security issue, and we instead have to rewrite how retainers work.
Yeah, which is a lot of work.
Currently, you can't access a retainer apart from in specific places which has specific permission to.
Early 2.0 coding, not 1.0 coding, but early 2.0 coding that I don't think they really are going to touch. It would be lovely, and I think it's a really good idea for a quality of life.
I think it's actually the same reason why you can't do your retainer while you're in New Game Plus, because it technically instances you, and also while you're cross-world, where you can't access your retainer either.
It's also a reason why the glamour dresses aren't in-house as yet, technically.
Yes, it's the same. It's because it's the way it's where it's stored on the server.
That's right. Otherwise, you would end up with duplicates or corruptions.
If I remember right, I think my understanding is you've got like a character data, which is your character. Then you've got like an account data for the character, which is like your FC and everything.
Yeah.
And your character data is stuff that's moved between instances and stuff. And then all your stuff like retainer, which needs back-end server support.
I think Yoshi P put it best in one of the things. I mean, it's not a direct quote, citation needed, but I think I remember a while ago that he said the more times we allow people to access things from different locations, the more access of that data, the more likelihood of corruption and losing the actual original item. And they don't want to have a massive situation where they need to open more support staff and have more support tickets because the back end isn't there in this game to support something like that in comparison to like WoW, where they can recover items, relatively quickly with their system. It doesn't exist here, so it would need quite a big rewrite. It's a good idea. They might think about it in the future, but it's not something I don't think they can do.
Saddlebag's
easier, right? That's the bit we didn't talk about.
Your saddlebag's just linked to your character data.
Yeah, saddlebag is fine.
Yeah, retainer probably not.
Because saddlebag acts basically like an armory chest.
Yeah, it basically carries around anything you can open in the open world outside the big cities is essentially on your character at all times.
That's right.
So it should, I don't know, it should be easy enough.
Retainers, iffy.
Probably not unless they redo the entire server infrastructure of how...
But they have done stuff like this before that surprises and goes, wow, okay, usually they'd complain about something this, how come that was so easy? But it's how it all falls in. We can't tell because we don't engineer the game. But I would imagine that it's quite a taxing sort of thing to put forward.
And probably not something they want to put that much of their budget into.
Probably.
Considering they've dropped like a dungeon so they can put budget into other stuff. Are you really going to start putting that other stuff into stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I think that's actually what I would like to see next. More quality of life stuff, more bag space and stuff. I would if you gave me another tab of inventory and all it took was 2 less dungeons, sign me up right now. You can skip a couple of dungeons. I don't mind. Give me more inventory space. Anyway, let's go to Zed Goten, who has the second idea. I'd love to be able to talk to NPCs without dismounting.
Well, sure, but
I mean, it's a small thing, but the small things make the biggest impact. You're questing for a zone. You don't want to get off your mount. It's doable.
I mean, some of it might be tied to like cutscenes and stuff. If you're on a mount going into a cutscene.
Well, other games do it. It's just basically putting you into every time you enter a cutscene, you're basically put into a T-pose in a separate thing that other people can't see, and then basically it loads whatever position your character needs to be in, whether it starts the cutscene kneeling or...
Well, I suppose it depends if they count the mount as a separate entity to your character while you're mounted.
I'm sure it's possible, though. I'm pretty much guaranteeing it's possible.
Probably more is possible. They probably wouldn't want to do it because immersion or some shit.
Nah.
I mean, can you imagine someone just runs up to you on a massive ass bird or something and starts talking to you? You'd be like, dude, but get off the bird and then we'll talk.
It happens in other games. I can see that being a possibility going forward. Personally, I think it's not that immersion breaking. We got way many other things that are immersion breaking in this game. Sorry. The whole idea of immersion doesn't exist in this game anymore. Not when you have like cars from other dimensions. And
I mean, technically, is it really? It's not really that much of an inconvenience. It's not like you have to physically get off the mount to talk to them.
It's true, but I would dismount, right. But to people like me, and clearly to Zed Goten, it would kind of be nice to just stay on a mount. I'm sorry, I'm a lazy person, and I do like efficiency when it comes to stuff like this.
Yes, you're just rude when you talk to people. I've noticed this.
I'm not.
You are apparently when you're talking to NPCs.
Well, the NPCs are just there, aren't they? They're tools to a greater end. Look, when I'm doing my beast tribes, the last thing I want to do is talk to this turtle about his day every 5 minutes. It's like, shut up, give me the XP, put that rank a bit further up. One step closer to the new mount. You know, the dwarfs. You think I'm going to be reading the text on the dwarfs? I might. The main bit I'll watch through, but like the side text. I'm sorry, I don't like dwarfs in the first part. The first that Tomra bores the heck out of me. I might be the most unpopular person for having that opinion, but Tomra was the worst part of Shadowbringers for me. I was like, are these dwarfs ever going to shut up?
The most interesting part I had with Tomra was to hear the role quest. Actually,
that was okay. I'll give you that one because I enjoyed that actually in places. But there was a few bits where you're just like, oh my god, please.
So what you're saying is you're a beast tribe quest elitist.
Basically, anything other than fake people with mustaches is fine. Like the Ananta, I can deal with. They got their own problems. They're hilarious.
But you can't be bothered to get off a horse.
This is true. And that brings us to our last little comment that we're going to feature today by Nicholas McCann, who says, can you make tea time videos around 30 minutes? Thanks.
No.
Basically, that would involve me having to not say anything of worth.
That'd be really quick, wouldn't it?
30 minutes, dude. Like 30 minutes. What could I say in 30? Even if it was a solo tea time. But like, hello, Meoni here. That's like 5 minutes for an intro of like what we're talking about today. You know, no. It's the short answer. Yeah. The polite answer would be no.
The long answer is no. We've got too much to talk about.
And also, you got this amazing thing called, I mean, YouTube has this amazing feature where if you close the tab and you reopen it to the same video, it leaves off, it starts off where you left off.
So if it's an hour, you just cut it into 2 half-hour chunks and then you close the video at half an hour. Yeah. Then you come back next time.
Or you just press pause. And also the best thing about it as well, if you didn't know, if you start a video signed in, you have to be signed into YouTube, which you need to be anyway to subscribe, which you should all do, by the way. Subscribe to my channel. We're getting close to that 70k mark.
Heartless plug there.
You press subscribe, all right? And then what you do, because you're signed in at that point, is you start watching a tea time video or any other video on the channel, right? And then you're like, oh no, my delivery's here. right? You're watching it on a computer, okay? You go and eat. Yeah, the computer's just there, or you've turned it off, right? Then you're like, oh, I really wanted to finish that video. You open it on your phone, you sign into the same account, and you press the history tab. And look, if you press the video that you were watching while signed in earlier, it continues from where you left off. So that way, I don't think they need to be of any particular length at all. I could make like a 4-hour video and it wouldn't really matter. Yes, it would take you a week to get through it.
It also take you a week to upload it.
Right. But the principle is that you're getting entertainment, more entertainment, or at least it should be entertainment. I don't know if it is, right? People watch these videos. That's all I can say, right? At least you're getting more video that you can watch as opposed to watching many tiny ones with no opinions in them. And I find that people do seem to like opinions more recently, especially from my channel. So that's why there's a lot more opinion-based stuff. Well, I mean, we try to keep it civil, but, you know, and neutral on some things that are external to the game. But for the most part, you're getting a decent amount of content, I would say, for a subscription. Somebody said to me the other day in the comment section, I really wish you would do more videos. I'm like,
Trust me.
I would love to as well, but I don't have two of myself where it's me, I'm recording, I'm editing, I'm uploading. And
considering it takes like 15 million hours to upload a 2-second video.
Well, this video today is going to take me about 2.5 hours to render because my computer is trash. And then there's a chance that it might fail.
Maybe 3 hours to upload if...
Oh, yeah.
2.5 to 3 hours to upload.
Oh, that's if I go out in the car to the upload point. If I was to do it here, it'd be overnight and you wouldn't get a video today.
No, it'd be, 9... I think, what was your last one? I think you said once it was 14 hours when you had to do it from home.
Yeah. Yeah,
then it failed after 10 hours or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I'm saving up for a new computer. We have donations open for that with a PayPal link I'll put in the description. We have, there's the join button on YouTube. Money goes directly into the YouTube thing, and that's given to me every month on the 10th.
We're also doing a Kickstarter for a 23-mile Ethernet so you can connect to my internet.
We're not doing that, but I wish we were. And then we also have Patreon. But of course, I'm not asking you to like support me like that. I don't really mind. I mean, your viewership is amazing to me regardless. But people always ask me, what's the best way of supporting you? Well, I've just listed them off, and there you go. If you want to further that, if you want more videos from me in a relative speed, the only thing I can physically do to improve my life at the minute, since I can't improve the internet, is improve my rig to the point where I can actually render things within a few minutes as opposed to hours. So there you go. That's up to you guys. I'm not going to push that on you. I'm not that sort of person, but you know,
I am.
There. I know you are. That's why you should never be a YouTuber, because you'd be like, yes, give me all the things. Yes, come into
give
my
me
web.
More. You give me $2,000. How dare you? Give me more.
No, not everybody is a sheik. You know, some rich sheik.
Well, that's what we need to find you. We need to find you a rich person.
A friend of mine had a donation from somebody like that, and then they refunded it.
Oh.
And it cost him £500 in back charges for the transfer. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was I think he actually ended up with a court case for that as well. Yeah, that was fun, and then he had to pay legal fees.
Is there such thing as a YouTube sugar daddy? You could find one of them.
A YouTube sugar daddy. I have no idea. Probably. But I'm not female. Not that counts, right? I guess in this day and age. But I guess I could just. I mean, there's my character. She's female.
You could have a YouTube sugar mummy.
Well, why else would you play a female character? I'm sure someone's going to say. And on that note, I think it's time that we go and make another cup of tea, because I'm nearly out. In fact, I've got like
we started to go off on quite a bit of a tangent.
It's fun though. People love this stuff, apparently. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed James being on another episode. I know that like we're getting the same people on each time, and someone said like, do you ever ask people outside of your immediate friend zone if they want to be on videos? The answer is no at the moment, mostly because this isn't a podcast, by the way. This is just
it's just chalking crap.
Yeah. I mean, I might get a couple of other people on, but really, when I'm talking to people, there's not many from my list of friends that would have something worthwhile to say. That's harsh, but
yeah, it sounds about right.
for some of them, it really is at that level. Okay. But, you know, I might be wrong. I'll ask around, see what people want to talk about. There's a lot of topics we could talk about anyway. But hopefully you've enjoyed James being here. I know he enjoys just chatting with me. We've known each other for too long. And it's a good dynamic, isn't it?
Yeah, this is hence, yeah. And then before we're still sat in here talking at 5 o'clock tonight.
This is true.
When you've actually finally finished rendering.
but yeah, this is true. Yeah. But anyway, from me and James, and, well... Shout out to Forgiven, who's stood next to us. Yes, I know it's you.
Is it Forgiven?
Yeah, that's Forgiven.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd have to think of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They do G-pose pictures, by the way. Check them out on Twitter. And yeah, they do. Yeah.
Oh, do you actually know them?
I do. Yes, they're a viewer. Yes.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. They're a huge fan, and they do G-pose pictures. Yeah, really nice, actually. Anyway. Enough wibbly wobbling. Let's get to the making more cups of tea. So thank you all kindly for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Are we going to do a bow, actually? Should we do a bow?
Let's do that.
3, 2, 1. Oh, I even delayed it a bit, and it's still out of sync. That sucks so bad. Yay! Forgiven did one as well. There you go. There's a wave. And we'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, by the way. Bye, by the way. Bye, bye. Bye, 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 bye.